Hey guys, SK here, back with another Clash Royale video, and the time that you have all been waiting for is finally here. We reached 30,000 subscribers, and you know what that means. It is time for SK versus viewers. So my first opponent right here is Sitat. As you guys can see, that is his profile, and he is actually a decent friend of mine and an official tournament marshal in the Clash Royale Discord server. So in the official Clash Royale Discord server, they did host a tournament when I was doing my university orientation, and amidst all the chaos, he actually did help me out, you know, navigate through the bracket, through like the organization, the scheduling and everything. So shout out to Sitat for that. I'm actually going to Xbow and hover a fireball for his pigs, goes for a cannon instead. So he's playing one of his most comfort decks, Archer Queen Royal Hogs, does just pop the Queen ability. I get a small Xbow lock, and he's definitely playing Archer Queen Royal Hogs Earthquake, I think. This should honestly not be too bad of a matchup. It's actually, I'd say, close to evenish now, because while they do have the Earthquake, of course, and a fast cycle, you also have a Tesla, and there's an anti-Earthquake Tesla placement you can utilize, and that is a big thing in a matchup like this. Now, my goal in single elixir is probably going to be to get a lock if I can. He actually does go for an Ice Spirit. I am actually going to Xbow again. Goes for a cannon low. I'll Ice Spirit to make sure that Ice Spirit doesn't connect onto mine. I'll Knight for the Queen because I want to protect my Xbow, of course. And this might be a small Xbow connection. I'm going to log 2 if he doesn't get a log down, which he does eventually, but I still get, you know, another 200 or so damage. So this is looking pretty decent for me so far, because I got some damage. I mean, my goal again in single is to try and get a lock if I can. Just kind of having fun against it right now. And he hasn't really gone for pigs at all the whole game yet, I don't think. So that's something that's kind of interesting. I guess he's playing a bit passively right here. I'm just going to flip my archers and see what he wants to do. So again, I do think, even though, okay, there's the pigs, I'm just going to fireball actually, and skeletons. Don't really want to mess around with the Tesla when the Ice Spirit is there being all annoying, and it's just kind of like awkward to defend. I'd much rather just take a clean fireball on everything. And Fireball does counter pigs, but they still get some chips. That's why I went skeletons after as well. It looks like he is playing Evo skeletons himself. Just going to log on the left side tower. You do not want to go same lane in a matchup like this, guys. I'll tell you right now. Against either Hog EQ or Royal Hogs EQ for that matter. Going to stack my archers. I don't have any Evos on this account as of the moment, so going to be an Evo-less 3.0 game. Just going to pre-Tesla right now. And it goes for a cannon. I think this is definitely an Xbow, and I'm going to fireball on his pigs. He actually doesn't have anything in cycle except for pigs right now. Goes for an EQ and, goes for the Panic Royal Delivery. So that is probably a good game, because as you guys can see, you know, EQ log shreds an Xbow. But if you're not tanking for it, that is going to be pretty much it. Like, I don't know, what was that, like 1,000 damage? And so that just might be it. I mean, it looks like he didn't have anything in cycle, as I said. It looks like he did not want to go pigs onto the Xbow, because I would have just fireballed them, to be fair. He did know that, so props to him for that. But didn't get the delivery down in time, did not have a cannon in cycle, because obviously the Tesla just took the cannon out. There are the Evo skeletons, and honestly, my job is done. He went for cannon, EQ, and skellies. I'm just going to fireball that, because I don't really have a Tesla, like, available that fast. Also, we did have an Evo skeleton coming down. Do not want to mess around with that whatsoever. But yeah, he had to go pigs pretty much. That was the only play there. Delivery obviously does not come down after until like 2 seconds elapse, so you can't really get a delivery down to tank for an Xbow unless you either predict it or go like as soon as you hear the Xbow tick, and that is obviously a very difficult skill to do. And okay, at this point, you know, I would say still go opposite lane as the opponent. That's a huge fireball if I hit the Queen. Looks like I didn't. Actually missed a pig as well. But it's all good. I can just skeletons install, and that should be a dead Queen. He's back to a new set of pigs. Crazy 3-card cycle coming in. But I am back to my... Or not even back. I just have my Tesla in cycle, thankfully. I could Xbow here. In fact, I think I will. He's not back to his EQ. He's like 2 cards away, so I'll just Knight to predict whatever. Log as well. Maybe get a small lock here unless he gets his pigs down in time. Gets the Queen down. Going to Archers because he has to go ability. Otherwise, that's a dead Queen. And at that point, I'm going to get a lock again. So just kind of good pressure. And this is honestly a situation where I am going same lane as him, but only because I got a huge lock early. And you guys will still notice that I got quite a few Xbows, or at least one Xbow, I'm pretty sure, that I pressured with in the left, just to force out an Earthquake in the left lane. Yeah, that happened at least once, I'm pretty sure. Gonna fireball back, and at this point, this is just a fireball plus log to take the game, so I'll just get the log down, get the fireball down. That's gonna be a good game against Sit, playing Pigs EQ. So it looks like he panicked a little bit when I outcycled his counters and got the delivery down in time, and that's going to be a good game against Sitat. Alright guys, next up we have Nigerian Prince, and this is his profile right now. As you can see, he has reached Ultimate Champion, best finish 1768 ranking points, or rating points. Is a pretty decent player, played for 2 years and has some decent masteries. So we're going to be getting the match. His name is Orbit, also known as Orbit rather, and as for his message that he actually sent in my Discord server, he sent that at 1 a.m. So Orbit does need to be getting some sleep. He cannot stick to a single deck to play. He plays casually, but he does have 8.2k trophies on his main account, 7.7k on his alt, 1768 medals in UC at his peak, which is his best finish, of course. Best GT finishes are 17 wins and 15 on some other accounts, and has 3 11-3 classic challenge chokes. Gonna go Tesla right here to activate King off of this Firecracker plus Hog. That's a pretty nice little trick you guys can use. If they do go for a Hog to support the Firecracker, you can just play the Tesla like that to get the activation. He does say he mainly enjoys watching my content because of my commentary and advice, and I unironically have the most calming voice out of all the Clash Royale YouTubers, which I do appreciate, so thank you very much, Orbit, for the kind words. Let's get into this match. So it definitely looks like Hog EQ. Gonna take a nice log on the E-Spirit. Sadly missed the Firecracker. I'll Knight. Okay, I predicted a Hog Rider, so maybe not the best Knight because I thought he was going to Hog for sure. I will take a Fireball on the Firecracker though, and since I have an activated King, I can actually go for a low Tesla. And in this matchup, I actually do advocate going for the low Tesla sometimes, because you can actually force out a bad Earthquake. Like if you Earthquake there, that would have been a bad Earthquake, because I had a King activation up anyways. It would have defended pretty well. Then he wouldn't have had Earthquake in cycle 4 my Xbow, so... yeah, by the way, I'm not playing on a main account right now because I wasn't able to leave my clan, so I'm playing on a mini account and I have Evo Skeleton. So we'll be playing different decks in the SK versus viewers. I'll play quite a bit of Xbow because obviously it's my favorite deck. Hopefully we can get some Xbow mirror matchups, at least one, that would be cool. But I will also be playing some other decks as well, so don't worry about that, guys. Gonna go for a low Tesla as the Evo Skellies clean up the Knight very well, and that will actually be a pretty scary counter push. Not the best Evo Firecracker, I'd say. I mean, I know why he went for it, of course. He wants to clean up the Evo Skellies. Makes sense, but you don't want to give me Fireball value, because my goal in a Hog EQ matchup is actually to spell cycle like I'm doing right now. I'm already up like 600 and all the damage is from Fireballs, no Xbows, so I don't think I've gone for a single offensive Xbow yet, right? So pretty much just spell cycle. Gonna have to go Ice Spirit Skeletons and Archers to full counter this Hog. Props to him, he did outcycle my Tesla. Gonna Knight to protect my Archers hopefully, and then get ready to Fireball this Firecracker as I wait for the trajectory to, you know, push it back into tower range. That's a very important skill, guys, in any Hog EQ matchup, or just generally a Firecracker matchup, I guess, but especially Hog EQ, because you want to be hitting their tower with Fireballs as much as you can. He did spend quite a lot of elixir there, so I feel pretty comfortable going for an Xbow on the left right now. Another big fundamental, same thing as the match against Sitat as well. You want to be pressuring opposite lane to your opponent. Right here, exactly what I wanted. I got out a Knight, I got an Inferno Tower, so that's already 8 elixir down the drain for my opponent, and I only spent 6 pressuring with the Xbow. So really good trade for me. Just forced counters out and kind of spreading his elixir thin, not letting him full commit to offense. Goes for an Evo Firecracker. I see what he's going for. I'm just going to Fireball it to get off the board because it is a problematic card. Going to Ice Spirit the back, split Archers, and he's back to his Hog. I'll Evo Skellies. That should actually kind of destroy the Hog. I don't think I need to Tesla, yeah, because the Evo Skellies go crazy. And I will just Fireball Tower again, because that's kind of my game plan at this point. Ice Spirit as well, just pick the Firecracker. Okay, doesn't go for a Firecracker, but just still my prediction. Gonna Knight as well. Tesla snipes the Firecracker, which is huge. And this game is pretty much mine at this point, because I'm already up like 1,000. Kind of a mistake as well, going Hog into an Xbow like that, or into a Tesla like that. Actually going to Xbow to pressure right now, and Archers to snipe and predict an Inferno Tower, rather, because I can't really let him get away with, like, overcommitting like that. He actually has a Lightning, turns out, not a Earthquake. I get a baby Xbow lock, 2 Xbow ticks. Gonna Fireball again, keeping my 1,000 damage lead. And again, guys, whether it was Hog EQ or Hog Lightning, these anti-Lightning Teslas have been absolutely clutch, both in the game against Sitat and against Orbit right now, also known as the Nigerian Prince. Hopefully he doesn't scam me. But yeah, just pretty crucial, again, just getting these anti-spell building placements. Speaking of which, here's the anti-lightning or anti-earthquake or anti-poison, works for all 3. Defensive Xbow placement. He once again cannot lightning the right side tower and this Xbow, so that's exactly why I'm going for it, because I want him to lightning in the left. Gonna Xbow in the left as well, just to pressure, why not? There's absolutely no harm doing so. Predicted the I tower very well as well, and he basically has to commit quite a lot. Goes for the Evo Firecracker. Just gonna Evo Skellies, get value out of them to shred the Knight in the left. or in the right rather, and then I have to worry about this Evo Firecracker on the left. Kind of just going to Ice Spirit to try and take it out. He does protect it. I'll just get back to a second log. For the Firecracker, it does die to either Fireball or 2 logs. I'll Knight once more. Notice I'm predicting his eye towers on my Teslas with my Knights, because I just want to keep the high Tesla alive. He really can't do anything about it, except like high Lightning, I guess, which is just a negative elixir trait, so no one really wants to do that. But that's going to be a nice one against Orbit. GG's to him, playing Hog Lightning. So again, that match pretty much came down to Spell Cycle. Then I got like some tiny Xbow locks just to punish some mistakes. And lastly, I did pressure opposite lane quite a bit just to get some pressure going opposite lane. Alright guys, so next up we have Trey. As you guys can see, he is also a decent player in Ultimate Champion League right now. Best finish, 2320 rating points, top 4,000 in the world, pretty respectable. Has Pump Bow on his profile, and has a legacy best of 6.5k, has been playing for a while, and has a Classic Challenge win as well. Alright, so into our match against Trey, and as for what Trey had to say, he says that he originally played Clash Royale on launch with his friends, and then stopped after a while, but came back in 2021. 2 seasons ago, he had his best finish, which we saw. He's a cycle player, but he thinks he's decent in every deck archetype, but Xbow does have his heart, which I like. He enjoys my videos because out of the many Xbow YouTubers, he finds my channel to be the most instructive and has helped him get better with Xbow. I'm also very likable. It's been great to see how I get more confident in myself and my videos over time, so much love to Trey. Thank you for the kind words. Into our match, guys. Looks like he's playing Minor Wall Breakers. I'm playing Hog EQ because I did want to, as I said, diversify a bit and not only play Xbow. I feel like I could definitely play Xbow against everyone. It would get a little bit boring though, so I just wanted to play different decks, and I feel like I am going to showcase that because Hog EQ is one of my favorite decks in the game as well, like other than Xbow. It's just very solid, very strong, and I really do enjoy it. I feel like the best version, of course, does have the Evo Knight, but I'm not only playing for optimization, I'm also just playing for fun, and so I decided to put the Evo Firecracker in here just because it's not like a super broken Evo anymore. It's just very solid and honestly very fun to use. Like when you get a Firecracker on the board that's evolved, it's just kind of a light show that like lights everything up. Gonna have to Knight Ice Spirit for this Wall Breaker. Nice Ice Spirit hitting both the Wall Breaker and the Miner, actually retargeting the Miner. Gonna Hog with this Knight, and then I do have an Evo Firecracker. I'm not gonna use it. I'll just EQ on the bottom tower plus tower. Bats are a bit problematic actually if he is back to Miner. I don't think he is though to support those. We are in the slight lead right now, but doesn't really mean much against Miner Poison. Honestly, not a matchup I'm very fond of, but I can try and do some shenanigans with the Evo Firecracker to get damage, and also to try and outcycle his bomb tower. That's another thing I try and do. In this matchup, I'm going to Knight for the Spear Goblins. I'm playing Skeletons here. In my recent video showcasing Hog EQ, I did showcase the Goblins, but I feel like, you know, Skellies are just a bit better with the fast cycle. I'm going to Hog in the left, Evo Firecracker in the right to pressure, as she also helps out against the Wall Breakers. Going to EQ the bomb tower, hopefully get one hit, because I should be able to, yeah, or force out the log, both work. And I'm just kind of accepting the fact that I might have to go for dual lane pressure in this matchup, because you never really want to go same lane against Minor Wall Breakers. That's not very fun, especially when they start Minor poisoning you out. Gonna have to log these Wall Breakers in the left. Hopefully don't get an explosion on my tower. I'm good. Just gonna Hog again and get ready to EQ the bomb tower. I don't always like preemptively EQing because I like, sometimes they mix up their bomb tower placement, and I like just making sure I can hit it every time, I guess. Does go for the bats. Just gonna Ice Spirit Knight Skeletons, and I have to log as well, so you know he did force quite a lot of elixir out. We are still holding about a 300 damage lead right now. He actually has more damage in the right than the left. Gonna Firecracker to predict bats. We do actually hit the spears instead, which does work actually. Ice Spirit to once again hopefully protect the Firecracker. Firecracker protection program in full effect right now. And I think I'm just going to Hog to pressure while defending, honestly. I do have a Knight counter pushing, going to get the EQ down. And I do have an Evo Firecracker, which I definitely want to use if I can. All spears go to the right, so I can't really do anything about that. I'll just go for a Tesla. I'll let some of them lock on, actually, because, again, don't really want to go same lane as... Actually, I let all of them lock on. Kind of my bad. But I don't want to go same lane as him. Gonna Firecracker, get some damage. Nice. So that's going to be about 200 damage or so. And Firecracker is still alive, living it big. Gonna EQ as well. She's still alive, by the way, still wreaking havoc. And she does actually help the Hog get a hit right there. Boom, one hit. Thanks to the Firecracker helping melt the bomb tower. So nice little offensive sequence there. Even he gives the well played. And I'm just preemptively cycling Firecrackers. I've also outcycled the bomb tower right now. He's still like one off at least. So this is a nice push. finish. I can EQ. He misses the bomb tower on the hog. That is in fact going to be good game because he can't really stop this hog hit from coming in. So nice win against Trey. Thanks for participating. That was a pretty fun match. Eva Firecracker again putting in work. I do think both Firecracker or Knight work in this hog deck, but I just love Eva Firecracker. It's pretty fun, and I feel like it is just very enjoyable overall. So yeah, that is going to be a nice win with Hog EQ, kind of diversifying again. He gives the good game, so I'll give the good game back. Once again, thank you to Trey for participating. Alright guys, the next match is against a good friend of mine, Future. Let's take a look at his profile. Some diversity. He has a number 90 ladder finish, number 60 global tournament finish, and 2 20-win CRL challenges as well. As you guys can see, best legacy finish 215. Very crazy player. He's an Electro Giant main and a good friend of mine as well. I've gotten closer with him in the last month or so, so much love to Future. Thank you to him for participating too into our match. And as for what he had to say, he said 30k subs by the end of the week, which we did reach now. He wants to do the 1v1. He has both the top 100 ladder and GT finish, which is honestly very respectable in my opinion, because I have a better GT finish, but he has a top 100 ladder, which is honestly something that I have a 107, but I wouldn't really count it as top 100, so I do respect it quite a lot. I think it takes a lot of grit and determination just to get a top 100 ladder in general, so much respect to Future. He's going to be pretty much a really good player, like pretty much as good as me, on the same level, so this is going to be an interesting matchup. For sure, definitely nice to have a wide array of player skill levels in the viewer's video, because yeah, we have a range of everyone here. Future is looking like he is playing E-Giant himself right now. I get some nice Ice Spirit chip in the left and a Fireball on the Ewo's in the right. Don't know what exactly he has, because he does have a Knight in here. But okay, XZ comes out. I'm going to Xbow on the left, because if he's playing E-Giant, he can afford an E-Giant in time for this Xbow. Gets a Knight down opposite, so now he can definitely afford an E-Giant, because Knight's going to tank for 10 years. Nonetheless, I'll try and kite this out of range and maybe get a lock if I can. Archers as well. E-Giant does come down, unfortunately, but thankfully the Xbow targets the XZ before it locks onto the E-Giant, so at least the XZ is taken care of, and I can Tesla to clean the E-Giant up. He seems kind of upset. Honestly, I am too, because we are both playing like our best decks against each other, and I don't know how this is going to go, because he is a very good E-Giant player. As you guys can see, he plays an unconventional E-Giant version. He plays with the Fisherman and the Skeleton King. Looks like he's playing a version with XZ NATO and the Evo Knight in there as well. Which is kind of like interesting, I suppose. I'm actually going to Xbow to pressure because I have outcycled his E-Giant right now, and I also have my Evo Knight in cycle, very convenient, so just nice to pressure. Gonna get him down, gonna log this Ewo's back out of Xbow range and into Evo Knight range, keep the Xbow alive a little bit longer, and he gets his own Evo Knight down, unfortunately. I was gonna say thankfully, but no, that is not very, I don't thank him for that. Like, that is gonna be a bit frustrating actually, because that's gonna do a great job at tanking for and shutting down the entirety of my Xbow. I'm going to pressure again. He goes E-Giant the back and the left. I am back to my Xbow now. He's also back to his XZ, so that's a bit problematic. Going to Fireball. If he's not ready for it, that's going to be a lock. He was ready with the fish with the Skeleton King last second, so well played. I don't really know how to feel about this right now. I'm going to Knight for the Xbow, but that's going to be a dead Xbow because XZ does lock on. Archer's going to get NATO'd into the E-Giant. I think I have to Ice Spirit Skeletons and log as well, actually, because I don't want to get any E-Giant damage on my tower. He is back to a new E-Giant, by the way, so that's a bit problematic. Let's see if he goes for one at the bridge. Just Fireballs. Okay, so he's playing Fireball. Very interesting. I've been stacking Archers the whole time, because usually E-Giant does run Lightning, but he's playing E-Giant Fireball. Very interesting version. I'm actually going to punish that Fireball with a defensive Xbow in that case, because he can't really do anything about it, except for, like, I guess E-Giant into it, or E-Giant the back also works. I am low-key tempted to Fireball that E-Giant, but I don't think I will. I'll just match it with a Knight the back, and then I could honestly Xbow on the left just to pressure. I have a nice little setup here. Defensive Xbow, Archers, and offensive Xbow as well. He's definitely going to have to respond. Although my defensive Xbow is slowly bleeding out, unfortunately. I'll Skeletons for this Fisher, though. Log as well. Knight for the Skelly King, get a new Tesla down for this E-Giant, and we are honestly doing pretty well in this match. I mean, it's not really going any player's favor like that, obviously. Sadly, I messed my Ice Spirit up. If I hit that, that might have been a small lock on the left as well. But it's not really, like, in any player's, like, obvious favor. Rather, it's just kind of both of us playing a nice neutral game and pretty evenly matched so far. Gonna log, gonna Ice Spirit for the E-Giant too. I don't think I have to go Tesla. I'd rather not if I can help it, actually, because I'd rather my defense Vex would just put in work, and I can save Tesla for the next E-Giant. I can once again just pressure in the left. I'm going in the right ultimately, but just pressuring in the left to kind of force stuff out in the lane that he doesn't really want to go for, because his only damage right now is like a fireball in the right. So gonna stack archers, Tesla. Let's see if he takes the fireball, and he does. So he is slowly coming back with the fireballs. Actually, I can actually Xbow though to pressure right now, because that is a dead Skeleton King, and I have a second Xbow still pressuring in the left. He's back to a new E-Giant. I'm actually kind of surprised right now. That's going to be a dead Xbow. I'm going to fireball tower because I need direct damage, and I'll log as well. He might just fireball me back, to be honest, or he might just try and go for one final huge push. He looks like he's going for the final huge push, which I'm actually kind of scared of. Also goes for a nice knight and Eggsy. Gonna Tesla, hopefully low enough to the point. Oh god, okay, that was a big misplay. Because that Eggsy is splashing my Tesla. I'm going to have to Expo right now. Log the knight back. Can't take any knight hits. Ice Spirit to hopefully... Oh, knight gets one hit. I am going to fireball tower. I have to get back to log all this back and not take any hits, hopefully. And do I survive? Oh my god, just barely. Win by 100 HP against Future. If he got an E-Giant Zap on my tower, that would have been a good game. So very close win against Future. Give him the well played as well, because he played very well. Honestly, very nice one. Very close one against a good player and a good friend. Alright guys, so next up we have Tony. As you guys can see, he's a decent player in his own right. He has 1755 medals. He's an ultimate champion right now. 17 wins in the CRL 20 win challenge last year. Has won some classic challenges. Best finish top 6k. Best legacy ladder finish top 10k. So pretty decent player in his own right, and a decent friend of mine as well. I've actually known him for a while. So as far as his message goes, he says, "Hi SK, congrats on 30k. He's always been watching myself and Aragon for Xbow content, but it was back when he met me in the Clash Royale server that he decided to get back into Xbow. He does still suck at Xbow, according to him, but his gameplay with Cycle has gotten better. He's usually around top 6k when he tries in the season, and he hasn't been pushing much, but he mains the pedal deck, which is recruits. His best GT is 23 wins, has a GC, couple of CCs, and yeah, he has been a friend of mine for a while. We did meet in the official Clash Royale server when I decided to get a bit more active in there a few months back, and just kind of been a decent friend of mine. I'm playing Mortar in this match, guys. I did want to play different decks, as I said, and also being a little bit sneaky. Mortar does pretty well against a lot of recruits decks, and I had a feeling he would play maybe some kind of recruits deck, although I have been telling him to maybe switch things up as well and play other decks. But we are going to get a Mortar lock early, and I feel like this is one of my favorite Mortar decks because this has actually been a pretty good deck for a while. Like, I remember Pedro used to be really good at this deck many months back, and I kind of liked playing it ever since then because it was always like a solid deck that could do well in any meta, or in any matchup rather. Gonna Valk for this Princess. We do have the Valk in here instead of the Evo Knight. Evo Knight is stronger, I would say, but I wanted to play the Valk because number one, it does well against recruits. Number two, I do want to play the Evo Mortar. I knew he was low on elixir, so that's why I went for the Mortar low. He does go E-Barb instead of Magic Archer, so I'll actually have to kite everything into the middle then. I was expecting a Marcher, that's why I hovered my Goblins, but I'll go Goblins late. Miner late once the Goblins die as well, to cut everything into the middle and hold it there. And that's going to be a pretty solid defense. So as you guys can see, this deck has a lot of defensive potential against like most ground decks. I do actually have my Evo Motor next up in Cycle, which should be pretty solid. So let's see if I can get some mileage out of that. I also have the Archer Queen in here, just very strong and solid synergy is the Archer Queen with a 3-card cycle. So, you know, you get the Archer Queen down, you can spam minor poisons and triple very heavily. I already recognize those wall breakers are going to connect onto my tower. Doesn't matter if I log them or not, so I'm not going to log. Just going to go for the Evo Motor right now. I have a pretty good counter push coming. Going to Ice Spirit log, and that should actually take the Marcher out and get a Queen down. Back to new Valk to protect this Evo Motor, because Evo Motor is absolutely insane. As you guys can see, it's just clearing everything up. I don't see what he can do about this. This might be the push that seals it. Gonna Miner with the Valk Archer Queen counter push. Pop my Queen ability in a second here. And Evo Motor is still going to town. Sadly dies to the E-bar, but I messed up the protection. But damage is done. Just gonna log. And Goblin does get onto the tower. That's going to be a good game, guys. That's just going to be poison range. So GG's to Tony. Honestly, he does main this recruits deck, and I had a feeling he would play like a similar deck, so Mortar does pretty well. Also wanted to play Evo Mortar, so nice win against Tony, but he did pressure well. You know, he got some nice tricks. That Goblin drill with the wall breakers does get some guaranteed damage unless you have like a building, or you're willing to overcommit on the wall breakers. That one time he pushed in both lanes. And yeah, honestly, just a pretty fortunate matchup for me. But again, pretty good friend of mine, and always a pleasure to play against him. And yeah, shout out to Tony. So I would say probably other decks is the move right now, because he doesn't even have EVO Recruits unlocked, I don't think. So definitely, you know, pretty good matchup for me. And I'd say that kind of Recruits deck, the Pedal deck, is pretty bad in the current meta. But, you know, he does play it well. So again, thanks to Tony for coming on. Alright guys, next up we have Nuno. As you can see, his profile right here, he has a current season of Master 1. He has been playing for 3 years with over 1,000 battle wins, and best league reached is Champion League. Does have log bait, what looks like, on his profile as well. Also, don't know if you guys can hear it, but my dog is going absolutely ballistic in the background, so apologies for that. If you can hear that, I can't really do anything about it. As far as Nuno's message goes, he says, if I can just find it, SK my guy, you are the reason I came back to Clash Royale. He played when the game came out when he was deployed in Korea back in 2016. So looks like he also did military service just like me, casually playing with his guys. He came across me watching random shorts and became engaged because he's never seen anyone utilize the Xbow the way I do. Went down a rabbit hole of my videos and really enjoys. Started watching through, pretty much struggled tremendously because he didn't have the main tool, which is patience. But he has began to learn patience and became addicted to it. So he's now a season or 2 from reaching Ultimate Champion and wants to experience the game with his favorite CR creator and maybe can become Bud. So really kind message. Thank you for the kind words, Nuno. Getting into our match here, looks like he is playing minor wall breakers. We see the Marcher, we see the wall breakers, we see the Valkyrie. Very aggro push right now, just gonna Knight and Ice Spirit and then ignore the minor. Actually, I feel like I can get an Xbow opportunity right now because he spent a lot of elixir right there. Actually, he goes skeletons as well. I'm actually gonna Xbow Tesla the bridge in the left rather, guys, because he does not have Falcon Cycle right now. He has to bomb tower, so I'm gonna Tesla. Goes Marcher instead, and that is gonna be a good game because sadly that Marcher was just not the move. Goes for the bomb tower. All archers just to be safe, to make sure this Xbow stays alive, and that is honestly going to be a good game, honestly, because one little tip, guys, if you're playing minor wall breakers against Xbow or any deck against Xbow, don't overcommit so heavily in single. Gonna log this back just to take even more damage off his tower with the Xbow lock, and that's just gonna be log range. I'll actually just Ice Spirit right now to take the tower early. He has a pretty bad hand. He has to go like, yeah, Valk, but it does not come down in time. Maybe he was low on elixir. That's gonna be tower down though. I'm back on my Evo Skellies right now. Decided to just switch things up a bit and switch accounts. Or switch like the version I play. Don't want to play Evo Knight every single time. Although I definitely did need it against Future. But yeah, sadly guys, if you play that aggro against Xbow, you are going to get punished. So I think the Valk Bats minor play was a bit aggro. And then again, just going skeletons behind as well. Like that was definitely a dead push. Also, you can't really defend an Xbow with a Marcher. You kind of have to go for like a low Marcher once it locks onto tower. I would say that would be helpful. It does have Evo Skellies in here, but I'm just going to log them off, and that's going to be a second lock. I have my Evo Skellies myself in cycle right now, so they can kind of go crazy. I'll Knight, and he gives a good game. He knows it's over as well. So yeah, minor wall breakers can actually put up a good fight against Xbow. I'd say this version is definitely my matchup because he does not have the Evo Knight. He has a Valk, which is kind of worse in a lot of ways against it, I would say. But otherwise, you know, I'd say overall, just for tips for Nuno, you know, as he did mention in his own message, patience is very key. And so I can see why you want to go aggro and try and get some damage, but you do have to be patient. Sadly, it's a very slow match you play against Xbow. You want to save Valk for Xbow if you can to tank, and then you just want to kind of pressure lightly and make sure you're defending every single Xbow well, because this is a pretty tough matchup if you don't get it right in terms of how to defend well in single. And I've actually won this matchup before by people cycling a Valk in the back. I just go Xbow Tesla opposite lane and they lose because they can't really defend it at all. So that's just a little tip. You know, pretty good matchup overall looking at it though. He didn't have a big spell either, nor did he have a tornado, so I can't really complain. That was pretty much my matchup through and through, but still, you know, very nice to play against Nuno. One mistake was all it took, as he said, so he knows. And that's about it for the match. So thank you, Nuno, for coming on. Alright guys, so next up we have Zombie Fanatic 21, who is currently in Challenger 2, Best Path of Legends Season Grand Champion, has Royal Giant Earthquake on his profile. Don't like the look of that. Let's take a look at some of his badges. Has 4 years played, over 1,000 battle wins. And so Zombie Fanatic is also known as Anthony, or Peter Parker. If you guys have seen him in my YouTube comments, he's actually always in my comments. Been a very long-term, dedicated viewer, and just a nice guy overall. So he's also known as Anthony, is his real name. And as for his message, he said, "Yo, SK, I'm Anthony. I'm a chemistry major, and I love to play tennis. My personal best stats are 1,000 2v2 wins, above 6,800 on Trophy Road, and Grand Champion on Path of Legends. I love watching your videos because they are so informative, and I learn very much from them, even though I don't play Xbow. and you also put which matchups you were playing against, all in timestamps, which no other CR YouTuber does that I know of, which is actually true. That is something that I do put a lot of effort into in my videos, and I hope you guys enjoy it and appreciate it like Anthony does, because I feel like it actually does help separate me from everyone else. Congrats on being close to reaching 30k subs. I'd love to 1v1 you. It would be so cool 1v1ing a top ladder player. That's another way to improve, is by playing with people but way better than you. Same thing applies to playing tennis. So actually really good advice. I would say that actually can apply to many aspects and many facets in life, actually, where you just hang around people smarter than you, better than you, and you are sure to do well, because if you take it with the right mindset and approach, you know, you will always be with like people better than you, and they can definitely help uplift you and inspire you to do better, you know. I've always tried to do that, you know, when it comes to playing Xbow. I've always surrounded myself with like the best Xbow players in the world. I have learned so much from them, truly, so it's just been a blessing. Same as, you know, overall, whenever I play a different game, when I used to play lots of different games, I'd always try and befriend the top players so I could hang around with them and learn from them and just try and be the best myself. So it looks like he's actually playing the deck that was on his profile, guys. Yep, RG comes down. RG Earthquake, not going to be the easiest matchup. I'm actually going to Xbow on the right, and he goes for the Skelly King. I will Archers ASAP because he is very low in Elixir right now. I think he might have Earthquake and Cycle. Yeah, he does. So he EQs it off. That's still going to be a mini lock, though, on the right. And he actually does not have a log in this deck, I believe. I'll Ice Spirit as well. Don't need to Tesla for the RG. That's dead RG. That's 1,000 damage of ours. Actually, 1,200 in the right, courtesy of those extra Archer shots coming in clutch at the end. And that actually might just be a good game, to be honest, because this actually doesn't even seem like a bad matchup. He has Earthquake and RG, which makes it almost impossible for me to break through, but it's also hard for him to break through because he only has an Earthquake. I can stack Archers. That is one of the biggest things I've noticed in this matchup. You know, the Archers stack against Earthquake decks, against Lightning decks, and he also does not have like a log. He only has EQ, so I can actually kind of outdamage him with Spell Cycle. Nice Ice Spirit connecting, and he didn't really want to waste his Skarmy into that, I guess, so we're just going to get a nice connection off of that. Does EQ my defensive Xbow, which is not really a big deal. Evo RG coming down, also not a big deal because I just baited out the Earthquake in the right, so he's not back to it. I can safely go for a low Tesla to full defend everything, and he is surprised. I'll go for an Xbow right now because he's not back to RG, nor is he back to Evo RG. Even if he cycles back to a normal Royal Giant, it's not a big deal. I've said this quite a lot before, but honestly, normal RGs are kind of a joke when you compare them to Evo RGs. Gonna log this back. That's gonna be a lock. He gets an EQ down, but not before I get about 300 damage at least. You know, another mini Xbow lock, and that is going to be like just a really good position. Going to Xbow again. You know, he goes RG the back once more, which I would say is a mistake. That is probably not something he should be doing unless he's confident he can defend these Xbows, which, you know, he can, but he has to spend a lot of Elixir. He's already spent 8 on the Xbow. Meanwhile, the RG is kind of getting destroyed by the Archer, and I'm going to place more stuff on this side. Log back so I don't have to waste a Tesla on it. And that's going to be, you know, pretty easily defended. Going to Xbow again. I've once again outcycled. Okay, no, I have not. I was completely wrong. I thought I outcycled the RG, but either way, I think he's low on Elixir, so, you know, it's fine. My dogs are going a bit crazy in the background. Sorry if you guys can hear that noise. Going to Tesla up high, anti-EQ spot, of course, and he doesn't have RG in cycle, so you can't really punish this. You know, they can go for an RG on the Tesla. That would be one way to punish it, but he doesn't have it right now, so it's going to be pretty valuable. I actually don't want to fireball that Mother Witch because it's not in the lane that I'm going for. So I'm actually just going to chill. I might actually just fireball the Skeleton King, to be honest, because the Mother Witch is going to die. Yeah, I'll just fireball the Skelly King. That's the lane I want damage in anyways, and Mother Witch is essentially dead. I will Ice Spirit Skellies on this, get back to my anti-EQ Tesla. He is back to RG in a couple cards, especially with a 3-card cycle with the Skeleton King coming in. I'm just going to Xbow on the left, force out an RG in the left, because he's going in the right lane right now, based on the damage. And so I just kind of want to separate his stuff, not let him build up a huge push in the right. So as you guys can see, I forced out the RG. Meantime, I'm going to get back to another Xbow. I've outcycled his RG by at least 2 right now, so looking pretty good. Skelly King comes down late. Going to fireball the Skelly King plus Mother Witch, and then log the Skarmy, and that's probably a good game right there, because he can't really... Okay, he gets the Lumberjack down in time, but that is still, like... Yeah, he doesn't need to stop this final Xbow lock. Just going to Tesla in the middle, and that is going to be 2 fireballs, so I'll just take the double fireball. First fireball coming down. Going to predict an RG with these Archers. Good prediction. And just get back to a fireball. And that's going to be game against Anthony. So, you know, special shout out to Anthony. He's one of my favorite viewers because he leaves such positive, kind comments. And I really do enjoy seeing them every day. So much love to Anthony. As for the match itself, I would say, you know, a decent matchup for me because he did not have like a small spell like a log or a barb barrel. But still... The RGs in the back allowed me to punish them pretty well, and I got Expo locks, I think, almost every time we went RG the back, so that was how I got damage. So I would say just play a bit more passively and maybe try and go same lane. Alright guys, and we have our final match against Xbow. I'm not actually sure how to say his in-game name or his Discord name, for that matter, but he is a 3.x cycle player, as you guys can see. Has 1858 best finish on Path of Legends, and does have some classic challenges won. So we're going to be playing a 3.0 mirror match, which is what he wanted to do. So we're going to be playing 3.0 mirror to close out SK versus viewers. Alright guys, so turns out he does not have any evolutions unlocked, so I just took the Evo Knight out of my deck, and so it's going to be an even match now. So as for his message, he says, "Congrats on 30k subs, I've been playing this game for about 1 year. Didn't play any games with Xbow before he found me on YouTube, but now he enjoys playing with it. 3.0 is one of his favorite decks. Personal best in GT is 16 and 2, didn't finish because of a calculus exam. Lacking gems and time, he's only entered 4 CCs, but he's won all of them. Feels happy to see me reach 30k subs, I'm his favorite content creator. Have a nice day." So very kind message there. We're playing a 3.0 mirror. Good catch on the Tesla on my end for protecting the Xbow gun archers as well. And E-Spirit should actually help him out quite a bit in this matchup because, as you guys can see, E-Spirit log does kill an archer. It also does help against skeletons, of course. So I would say E-Spirit actually does have a slight advantage in the matchup. But of course, like, it's a very minor thing, like 55-45, that type of stuff, so still comes down to experience. And yeah, we were going to play a Mega Draft game, but he did want to play, we actually did already play a Mega Draft game, and I was going to put that in the video. I was able to build a really nice Hoggy Q deck, but sadly, I actually ended up accidentally deleting the recording when I was deleting some other videos, so that was a bit unfortunate. We're playing again, kind of, so thanks to him for taking the extra time out as well. Just gonna log this side of the Knight plus Archer, and then I can actually Archers to predict his Xbow, or his Tesla rather. He goes for an Xbow himself, just gonna Ice Spirit, gonna save for a Fireball, so I get a lock, which is really nice. He's gonna get a big lock too though, so I have to Fireball the Xbow as soon as I can, which I will definitely do. And he goes for a Knight in front. Okay, maybe I should have hit the Knight if I could have, but I didn't really think he would do that. But well played actually, because I have to go Skeletons, and I think I have to log as well. I mean, this Knight is pretty problematic. Yeah, I have to log. I'll take it at Knight hit otherwise. And I'm down quite a lot of elixir, I'm not going to lie. So this is actually kind of precarious. Yeah, it looks like he's cycling back to an Xbow right now. He goes Xbow and I'm at 4. Looks like he's up about 2 elixir. I couldn't go Tesla into that because he does have the skeletons tanking. They're just going to Archers right now. Ice Spirit. Okay, we caught his Archers. I have to get back to a... Wait, what do I do actually? I have to Fireball. I'll take some damage. Actually, no, I won't. I won't take any. I take 1 tick, which is technically a baby Xbow lock by my own standards, but I'm alive, and I'm up by about like 93 HP. Just gonna defensive Xbow because I'm down elixir right now. It's like the only way to kind of like equalize again. And just gonna Ice Spirit, gonna log the Archers. Oh, that's huge. He lets my Xbow lock onto his Xbow. I guess the Archers were placed too low, so that's a huge mistake, guys. That just might cost him the game, because now I'm gonna go Archers to protect my tower and defensive Xbow, and then I'll go Xbow. It's a bit expensive to have to go Archers there. I didn't have anything better in cycle, but this should be a pretty decent Xbow. Yeah, he gives me a Fireball on the Xbow plus tower, so big mistake as well. I'll just go with last second Skeletons and then log this Knight back. And that just might be a lock. Yes, that is going to be a lock, I believe, if he's not ready for it. Yeah, he's not ready for it, so we get another lock, and that might be good game right there, because, yeah, that's just 2 Fireballs pretty much. So, you know, this was a really scrappy game. He honestly did almost get me in single, but thankfully with good defense I was able to survive. Just going to Tesla. He has to respond to my Xbow, so he probably won't protect his Xbow. Yep, and then I can just get away with the Tesla full countering his Xbow. Then I can just log this back, and he actually does still have to respond to this, otherwise we get a lock, and that's going to be Fireball range, so GG's. You know, pretty fun Xbow mirror matchup. I'd say just, you know, he played a bit too aggro, and I kind of, I mean, we were, like, evenly matched on the single elixir scrappy situation, but ultimately the thing that kind of lost in the game, I would say, was not protecting his defensive Xbow. And also late game, he went for a defense Xbow that was in Fireball range of the weak side tower, so that was kind of a mistake as well. But otherwise, you know, GG's to Xbow. Thanks for participating, and thank you everyone for participating in SK versus viewers. This is my 30k sub special. Thank you guys so much again for 30k subs. It has really been a blast playing against you, and I might have to do this more often. So that's about it for the video. Thank you guys so much for watching and for the support. Love you guys so much. Take care, and I will see you in the next one.